Everybody wants to cook out. Show that wall. Everybody has that Ron's gonna join us? Let's with this. Your house.
Oh, okay.
We have these plants that I got out of storage. I can put it back in the truck. It's gonna buy one day. Hold this in your roof.
Yeah.
Cover it. Yeah. I just about it one day. I'll let you know. If that was the thing.
Cut that sound right here. No, on the ground.
Being called to order. Captain of the Color Guard, please advance to post the colors of our nation. Right hand salute.
Guard, halt, right face, post. Colors. Present arms.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready, two. Left face, forward, march. Guard.
Uncover. Post Chaplain, please provide our opening prayer.
Let's uncover again. Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, come back to you again tonight to ask you to be with us while our elected officers conduct this meeting tonight. We ask that you be with them and praise them and give them humble feelings to promote this business and this post. We'll come back to you at the end of this meeting and give you praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Recover. Please join me in reciting the American Legion preamble. For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations and all wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. I now declare American Legion Post 233 Department of Georgia regularly convened. Post Adjutant, do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, we got it.
Please give us a brief recitation of our minutes from the last meeting.
Very brief. Hopefully you all have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Commander's report, item 3 there, under A. We need membership to become a little more involved here and there. There are a handful of guys that are kind of carrying the load, or more than kind of carrying the load, they're carrying the load. And a little bit of it, let Henry do it. And I don't think anybody out there is named Henry that I know of. So anyway, please think about and pray about maybe being a little more involved in some of the everyday runnings of the post. Finance report is attached. Good idea to take a good look at that. Committee reports, you have the Legion Riders. Daniel and Kate are real good about getting that report out, so take a look at that. And then Tom Williams put out the legislative report, and that's another thing you should be looking at and taking an interest in. And the future committee reports, the commander asked that they be sent in prior to the meeting, so you can send that to my email or to the commander's email. So, any questions, comments, corrections?
Great. Good job. You get a raise. Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay, our commander's report is rather a thick document to speak. He has left, but Danny provided us with some wonderful meals. Yes, sir, Tom.
I would like to move that we accept the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion we accept the minutes as read or any corrections?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And we have all those. All in favor? Thank you very much. All opposed? Okay, now we'll go to this. Thank you, past commander. Okay, so let's get to this. On the commander's report, not that one. I think we're doing some really good things here. It shows with our development of new ideas to support old ideas, things that are working and that need to be supplemented so that we can grow our business here, and also so that we can assist, because we are growing the business, we can assist more of our needy fellow veterans and their families, and then if there is something of need within the city and our town here, that we can be able to meet those needs. So, here's some good things here. If you look at the P&L, I'm just going to go ahead and cover the financing as well, if you don't mind, so that I don't have to come back to that, because it's all in this one big document. Our P&L shows that we have spent more than we earned. We have a minus $3,588.15. It's about 4 pages back or so. That doesn't tell the whole story. I do have the detailed P&L for you to look at, and what you'll find is, in looking at this, is that we had some expenses that occurred kind of like the perfect storm, and they happened all at one time. We spent, as required, for maintenance of the HVAC system. We had to do a $2,200 service maintenance agreement with the wall heating and air. Then we had the machines decide that the bear was going to eat us, and so we lost $2,000 on machines this month. That's a rarity, but it happened. And thanks to Don Liberté, the Post has a wonderful computer at a very, very good price. It's now in the commander's office, and we're also updating computers that needed to be updated, especially for the service officer and maybe for the adjutant. So, yeah, so it makes our work a lot easier when we have things that actually work for us when we start punching on keys. I thought that I would go back and look at some of the finances and see how we compared to a year ago. Not going all the way back into COVID, but a year ago, which would be a little bit more reasonable. I took out some things that really are not pertaining to the sales that are there at the Clover point of sales, like rentals and stuff like that. Doesn't have anything to do with what we do with food and drink. So in August of 2024, our gross, bear in mind, gross, that means this is before we take out all the money for bartenders and all the other stuff. Just gross sales for August of 2024 was $15,482.25. That's last month. A year ago, we registered $7,033.25. In July this year, we did $11,898. In July of last year, we did $7,953. In June of this year, we did $12,662.26. And in June of last year, we did $5,814.75. I think that this is remarkable. And I also think that this is due to a lot of dedicated work on things that were successful and adding to them. I firmly believe that. I know that you're thinking, well, let's see. So I went back and looked on the Clover system about the August Friday nights. And shrimp and grits, which was the first one of this month, was $600. This is gross. It doesn't incorporate how much it costs to get, but this is a gross amount. $614.25. Cheesesteak dinner on the next weekend was $989. And then we had a Fiesta Friday, which is tacos and stuff like that. That's $829. And when we decided that, or actually we were blessed with Operation Rally Point bringing things in here in addition to what we were already doing. So Friday night and the Saturday night combination of the fourth weekend that had the car show and the swap meet in it, the gross was $3,408.50. That's from bringing in other people and from bringing in other ideas, which are just as important as yours. And the Cuban night, I have to say this, if you weren't here, you missed probably the best meal that we've had of all the dinners that we've had. It was really, really good food. It was well done, and the dessert that was prepared for us by Chrissy was out of sight. It was just a great thing. When I decided to make it more like Cuban, we moved it outside because we had a heavy rental inside here. So there. We also gained another member at the swap meet and the car show. We picked up connections to MKC, which is a motorcycle club that's comprised of law officers, first responders, and veterans. And they are very anxious to do things with us. So they have included us in a poker run on November the 2nd that leaves Monroe. We're the third stop. And we're going to be doing free drinks and coffee and stuff like that, although since we're the third stop, it starts at 10:30 in the morning, they probably just want to use the bathroom. And that's okay. We'll offer that to them and whatever. So we are part of a lot of community events and organizations here. Monday is a very important date for the Post, and if you could be a supporting member of it, it would be more valuable than you could possibly imagine. We will be opening the Patriot Grill for lunch from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. This is a milestone event for us, and it's something that we hope is very successful. And we've got help in the way of ordering food and stuff like this from Daddy, who provided this wonderful chicken for us tonight. we have people that are reaching out that want to help us now. I offer you the opportunity, and I encourage you to come down here and be a part of it. You make the difference. You're our secret weapon, so to speak. We have some events that are coming up and this month, and we have some events that are coming up in October. When we do the Saturday things, we like to make things a little bit more fun and entertaining. So dress up for the occasion. Okay, we have things going. Now you have on here your profit and loss. And again, this really does not tell the full story because you can't see all the details buried inside this thing. But there you can see, if you look down to our gift card machine income, it's 14. And then you turn over to where it is with payouts, and you add $2,000 to it that we had to put in there, and we lost $2,000. That's okay. Like John Bushwhack said, it's just numbers, and it's just there for a fleeting moment, and we can make up for it, and we will. I also have got on here your checking and savings account documentations, and if you turn all the way to where it's got the different accounts, you will find what we have there is our available balance in the checking account is $39,000, but right now I checked it, we have $30,625. I'll let you do all the addition with the savings and all that. Savings account is $55,000 for all you who are watching this from home. $55,202, and that's it. It's got all your other accounts and things. Tom has included on the back of this the legislative report, and I encourage you to follow the links. Some of these bills and things do have an impact on us as veterans and on our benefits. So I encourage you to do some homework on your own. On the next page, 2 pages, is the Patriot Grill menu. And notice the wonderful menu on the TV screen back there. Thank you very much, Steve, and Mike for setting that up. It makes a difference in here. And I'll let you do all that. And then the last of it is the American Legion Riders have submitted their report. Kate sent it in last week. And if you turn the page over, there's a letter to all of us, well, to the writers. And I think it applies to all of us who are here as veterans, that we have signed on the dotted line, and that we are a part of something that's bigger than each of us individually. And it gives us an opportunity to be more than just being an individual. And I encourage you to read that. Daniel's a rather quiet person, and this says a lot. And on the back, there's a picture of the donation of some funds to the Operation Rally Point. So that you can see what I intend to do, and I hope to do for next month, is to not have as many reports, but and through Mike's help, we're gonna get this stuff published and sent to you online. He's gonna make me whatever I have to know to make this happen, so that you can all get this information online, and we can save a ton of paper. Now, I don't normally put things in color, but if we start sending this stuff out online, it will be colorized so that you can see all this stuff. And if you go out to do one of your missions, or if you go out just to do something as a part of a group, take pictures and then write a little bit about it. And identify the people in the picture and date it. We have so many pictures here, and you look on there and say, wow, I think I recognize this person. Who is this? When was this picture taken? I know that this group is it. So we end up with a lot of pictures that look old like us, and then we have no names and no date. Those things need to be on it, and it would be wonderful if you would say, this is where we were, like on the American Legion Riders thing. this is where we were, this is what we were doing, besides having a good time. And I hope that's always the occasion, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it might be an escort over to camp or to one of the local cemeteries. That needs to be documented too. Okay, it's all important. It's all a part of what you and I and the whole post is. Okay? So, this concludes my report, Mr. Adjutant. And my fellow members here. Okay, Danny got away before I could wave at him and tell him how much we appreciate his being here. We do have our current mayor and our past mayor. Gentlemen, would you stand and please be recognized as being here in our midst? And I would be very remiss if we do not recognize our past commanders who have put forth their time and effort and their aspirations. Stan Lawler.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tom Williams. And Mike Burrell. Mike found his old hat. He's very pleased with himself. So, I don't know that who's here as a guest or as a new member? Anyone here is a guest or new member? Can you stand, sir, and tell us a little bit?
My name is Jimmy Oates. I'm transferred to the state of Legion Post. I've been in American Legion probably 50 years. I'm a retired Navy. I was a Chief Petty Officer on the submarine. Getting a little lip from the air down tonight.
We're glad to have you with us, sir.
Good to see you.
Thank you for joining us. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to kind of jump around on this. One of our biggest donations goes to Operation Rally Point. So I think I've got the microphone up there. Mr. Madsen, would you care to just give us a little bit, share something with us about Operation Rally Point?
Good evening. If you haven't been out to see our office, we consolidated 137 and 139 on North Midland Avenue in Monroe, and now we're in 141, and it looks like basically a bomb went off in there. So we're having new flooring put in. We got all the painting done, and then this gentleman right here, he's meeting me tomorrow at 1500 to talk about putting up 2 walls for us so that we can have kind of a conference room for a little privacy and stuff like that. And plus, as the programs are starting to expand out a little bit, we're talking with a lot more people on Zoom and whatnot. And that's part of my responsibilities with development. VSO wise, I'm averaging over 30 appointments a month. A lot of reductions over the last 2-3 months, and I haven't been up and talked about that lately, but I am seeing a lot of reductions, and I don't know if that's an internal thing at the VA, but mainly it seems like the point of which the reductions are occurring is if you're not participating in treatment or you're not reordering your medication on My Healthy Vet or through your PCP. Basically, the way it was told to me was if the veteran's not going to care enough to do their treatment and medication, they were going to continue to do that. They are throwing a lot more. There's a reevaluation that some of us might fall into if you're not permanent total. If they call you and they say, hey, we're reevaluating you, make sure you make that appointment. Just blowing it off will result in an immediate reduction. And there's no appeal window for that one. The other things that are going on as far as with our, and I refer to them as clients, is we have 5 apartments still. There's difference. We have a couple individuals that share the 2-bedroom. We still have the 3-bedroom apartment. Thank God they've kept the price the same. They do give it to it on a discount rate. We've, the extended stay hotels are getting more and more expensive. It's one of those things that you can negotiate a price with them, and it'll be good for about a month or 2 or 3, and then they start to hurt for a little money, and then they tell us, hey, we can no longer give you the discounted rate. Right now, about the best case we're doing is about $49, and Watts is on the phone daily trying to find new locations that we can put people in. We're getting a lot of calls from outside the state, which is unusual because we get calls from the National Homeless Coalition. If you call the VA gives you our number at Operation Rally Point. They don't give us a check, but they give us our name. So what's really weird is now we're starting to get phone calls from outside the state of Georgia, which is something we weren't really financially or organizationally prepared for. So we're starting to try to see if we can find other locations to start little outposts or like I make a joke, in Rincon, Georgia, I've got a gentleman that's really interested in opening up ORP South. It would be him and maybe 2 other people, and they would do a lot of the same thing we're doing here, but in the Savannah, Tybee Island. We've got a golf tournament coming up, our car show and the bike night and the swap meet and the helicopters we did great. All together raised about $6,000 through all the different little things I had going on. The golf tournament is at the Monroe Golf and Country Club on August 14th. That's $150 per person. You could, if you have a business, you can do $600. Okay, everybody's pointing. Do I have the wrong dates?
August.
No, not August. I was just checking to see if y'all were paying attention. Were you paying attention? You didn't say nothing, so Paul wasn't paying attention, y'all. October 14th. Paul. Okay. Just about enough of that. All right, so it's $150 per person or $600 if a business wants to sponsor a hole. I think all you guys know, if you haven't, if you come by our office or if you sit with me or Watts or Johnny or Carmen that's helping us, we don't really get paid to do this, So everything that we take in just about goes back to those people. And I came up with kind of a little bit of a saying, and I'll just paraphrase it. We never would have left anybody on the battlefield. I don't care. It doesn't matter which war you're in. It doesn't matter which conflict you're in. We were told that from day one. You don't leave anybody on the battlefield. So that's kind of the way we live now. We don't leave anybody out there. If we have to scrape money together, if we have to sell Coke cans or recycle, we're going to get those people someplace to stay. And a big part of that comes from you guys, and we really appreciate it. Watts would have been here, but I've literally told him, please go spend some time with your family, because 1, he's making me crazy, and 2, he does this 7 days a week. So other than that, if you got any questions for me about what we do there, yes, sir.
Can you tell me when VA's financial year is up?
I would think they go on a regular October. I will have to check. I don't know specifically. If you guys don't know this, they threw $1 billion at homelessness last year. It went up by 7.2%. The VA thinks that it takes $74,000 to $75,000 per veteran per bed per year. It's just not the case. We do it for less than 20. They got a hold of it. They put $1 billion to it. Stupid number went up. The bureaucracy, right? Right now, the new mainstream media got a hold of it. They're $15 billion in the hole right now, the VA. If you haven't seen that on the news, it's going to come out more. But right now,
that's nationwide now, right?
That's cross country, yes, sir. They're $15 billion in the hole, in the red. They're cutting back programs right and left. They had tons of employees leave. They were not prepared for the PACT Act. They lost almost like 8,000 employees this year. Really ridiculous stuff's going on over there. It used to be you could get, like for me, if I got you in to get an appointment for your claim, which goes through completely different on VA healthcare. But if you don't have any documented medical evidence, I'll say call the PCP, call the clinic, call the hospital, and get into VA healthcare. It used to be about a month before you had an appointment. I talked to somebody today that said, is there anything you can do to help me? The closest appointment they have is January. And that's just for just an examination, just a physical. So please keep up on all your stuff. It's so very important. If you get something in the mail, you don't understand it, shoot me a text. If you're behind on ordering your medication on My Healthy Vet or through your PCP, make sure you get on it. Even if you have medication in your cupboard, keep ordering it so it shows that you're still active with it. And of course, if there's any type of treatment that you're supposed to maintain as far as VA healthcare, please make those appointments. All right? Yes, sir.
Mike just got back from Louisville. There's a brand new VA hospital being built in Louisville at the cost of $840 million.
I could run Operation Rally Point for the rest of my life 80 times over for $800 million.
You find that as shameful as I do?
Yeah.
We hear of a month flying insects, and they had to close it down. Now, how many people got postponed because of that?
I got in
I
trouble.
wouldn't say anything, Ralph, if I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
It lit me on fire. And I have to tell the leader because the VA stands up and listens when the leader talks.
Yes,
They
definitely.
really do. They really do. So
Go ahead.
we need to talk some more.
Yeah, we need to get, our leadership. But look, I got in trouble down there a month ago. On the third floor, they have about 8 rooms that have plywood up for windows. And I got really mad and I went up there and I went in the rooms and I was telling the vets, I said, don't worry about me, I just need to look at something. The water is coming in and getting the plywood wet and there's mold all over it. And so I got the patient advocate and I walked outside because I was yelling inside. And guys, I've been arrested there. There is a jail there and they do use real handcuffs. So he asked me if I would speak to him outside. And I said, yeah, if the cops are waiting for me, buddy, you better rob a bunch of them. I'm not happy. So we get outside, and you know what he told me? He goes, I don't know what to do. The patient advocacy up there, he told me, he said, I complain about it every day. Administration knows, national knows, everybody knows. But yes, sir. Well, I'm just hijacking this thing, ain't I?
Go for it. Opened the hospital on the bypass in Covington. I went down with my DD 214 to register as a veteran. I went through the procedure and they told me, quote, I make too much money to get VA benefits.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
State that, please.
Okay, so what's going on at the VA right now is that if you've never done anything with the VA and you call tomorrow and say, I need to get an appointment for an evaluation, I need to get an appointment for a physical. First question out of their mouth is, how much money do you make? It has nothing to do with, that's just not the way it works. But VA healthcare is very different than compensation and pension. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically sell you on the idea of VA healthcare like health insurance. And if you fall into these certain clifted areas of how much you make, that depends on how much you'll pay for a co-payment and how much you'll pay for medication. So yeah, they did this a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but about 15 years ago, they used to charge us for our prescriptions. You'd go see the primary care physician, they go, oh, you need vitamin D. And I go, why do I need a $50 bottle of vitamin D? And then they advertise, hey, we collected $1 billion from our veterans paying for their medication. So when that got figured out, of course they stopped that program. So they just started it back up now. I know Trish Ross, the commissioner. Yeah, I would love to have her come out here one day. Maybe Veterans Day would be a good day to invite her out so we could talk to her. So she'll duck it. I'll just tell you up front. She'll duck it. Is there any other questions, guys? I mean, I didn't mean to hijack this. It's just, y'all know that I do this every day. So, Fritz, we still friends?
Of course, sir. Can I get an appointment?
I still haven't done our commander's claim yet.
What? Thank you very much. So that was our VSO report as well. This will be okay then. I would like to remind you, as National raised our dues by $5. I know that doesn't seem like very much, but then the state sent out a thing and said that our dues were still at $30 when we raised them to $35 to compensate for what National is going to take out from us. So all the payments that have been coming in from,
We're in the red.
we are now with dues. That's part of why we are in the red. So far as it goes with dues out and then dues back in from National. Because we did not get what we asked for in our change of dues. And we are not the only post that this happened to. So people make mistakes, but sometimes if they make mistakes, somebody else has to pay for it. And right now, we're paying for it. So if you're one of those folks that paid $30, and all good intentions, because that's what you were asked to do, we would greatly appreciate the added $5. But don't just put it in a bucket back there, okay? It would be much better if you gave it to our illustrious adjutant over here so that he can write it down as to where this, that you gave it back, as a part of your dues, that you unbeknownst gave too little. Those of us who were here at the meetings and stuff, it's like, oh, okay, 35, and so we paid 35. But please, if in all honesty you made that mistake that was based on what you were sent, it would be much appreciated if you would give the additional $5 to the post. Then we can at least break even. There's fees attached to all that stuff. Okay. I gave the finance report as a part of the commander's report, so I will entertain a motion to accept the finance officer report pending audit.
Also moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any objection? Raise your hand. And all in favor of? Okay, good. You have the papers with you. Please, since I've printed a very large packet here that I don't usually print, take it home with you and study it. It's okay to ask questions. It's actually your responsibility. And if you don't ask the questions, I'm assuming that you're not looking too hardly, or that you completely agree with what's down there. I'll be happy to show you the detailed P&L. It does help. And just as another matter of explanation, we use the Clover point of sales. It helps with a lot of things. It helps us keep track of where we are making the most money and where we're making the least amount of money. It does have an impact on what we buy, not just in food, but also in beer and all this other stuff. This stuff is sitting in there forever. We're not going to buy it again. And it helps us with the inventory. And it helps me and you to see where the income is and where the expenditures. Well, you don't see the expenditures on there. You only see the income on the Clover. That's a point of sales. So that's a point of income. And you only see the gross, and if that's what we reported, okay? So, okay, let's go into some wonderful committee reports. You already have the Legion Riders. It's there. Tom, you have anything on, or Mike, on public information or website? You're gonna help me with that, and Mike's gonna help me with this.
The website's being completely redone. The
Right.
website that's up is not the one that's being built.
Okay.
There's one being built off to the side.
Okay, I know you can't hear that in the back, so here's what's happening with the website. Over the years, it has had a lot of different entries, and there's a lot of broken links. So Mike is just starting from scratch. That's what he does, so we'll take on a different appearance soon as possible. How's that? Is that as clear as mud? Okay.
That's right.
Jerry, when is the next blood drive, and what's happening with the color guard?
Well, our last blood drive was August the 8th, and we had 42 good donations, so thank you all for what you came today. Appreciate it. Our next blood drive will be on Thursday, November the 14th. It'll be 10 o'clock to 3. And on the color guard, we've had 3 events since the last meeting.
Okay, 2 events for the color guard. Thank you, sir. And next blood drive is November 14th.
Yes, sir.
It's my birthday. I'll be 78. Okay. Steve? Ralph, yes, sir.
Yeah, we would like to solicit anybody who wants to become a member of the Color Guard. We currently have only 6 slots.
Thank you. Okay, for those who are out in TV land, we need more participation in the color guard. Please see one of the color guard members. If you know who they are, track them down, something. See Jerry, see Ralph, see Jack. We need more members. And Ron, Ron's over here, sorry. He had a white hat on. See Ron, one of these guys, we've always had a great color guard here. And they do a lot to represent this post and what we believe is right treatment of those who have passed that are veterans. So it would be an honor for you to serve as a color guard member, and I hope that you will consider it. Okay, Steve, you want to do very briefly buildings and grounds?
Yes. Very.
Right.
Operative word.
Good evening, everyone. So, building grounds, we've been doing a lot of maintenance. We did an upgrade to the kitchen sink where we got a sprayer now. We can clean pots and stuff a lot better. Repairs were made to the water heater. We had the shark bite fittings and our shark bite valve that were disintegrating and eating the copper up, so we had to make that repair. Just replacing the shark bites wasn't going to do it because we were going to replace copper also. Our water heater in the main kitchen is on its last legs. It's 12 years old and it's on its last legs, so pretty soon that will be a major expense for a replacement. Met today with David Grizzard and Sparks Grizzard Construction to help us and advise us and come up with some budget numbers for fixing the ADA access to our building, especially the concrete work and the deck and the angles. They know the code. They have engineers. They're going to help us give us a budget number and a design to work with. That we can use, and Mike's going to help us with the Home Depot Foundation to get the ramp redone in a proper angle where it's not so steep for people to get up in wheelchairs or to walk up. Also, the concrete entrances and the handicap entrances to our building, at the main building, and the entrance over here to my left, so that people can actually use it safely. David Grizzard's also going to advise us and come up with a budget number, what it'd take to expand our kitchen to where it's a proper size, to where we can use it properly. We've approached the Ladies Auxiliary to help us with the finances to pay for some HVAC upgrades that we need. A lot of these storage rooms that we have throughout the building were not ventilated or air conditioned whatsoever. And we've discovered mold in them. And the only solution to get rid of mold is one, get rid of the stuff that's moldy, but to get ventilation into those areas. And that was a short sight from when the post was remodeled years ago.
A lot of people don't realize how dangerous mold can be to the human.
Yes. Yes, mold spores can cause a lot, especially in us folks that have respiratory issues. It can cause a lot of respiratory problems for us and a lot of health issues that we don't need. And I think the ladies are exposed to it in their room, the women's bathroom back there. Just a vent and a piece of duct was put up in there and never hooked up to anything. There's not even a vent fan. So we got to address these things. All these storage rooms through here have mold issues. And so, the Color Guard has their stuff stored in there, and it's all, you can walk in there and smell it sometimes. For those of you who can smell it. But we've found boxes and stuff to completely molded up that we've had to, dispose of. Everything in there, yes it is. And we're lucky that it's not black mold yet, But, you know, it goes through a phase and it'll turn to black mold, get into the insulation and sheet rock and everything, become a very expensive proposition. So that's my report.
Okay, so you know all that positive I had at the beginning of the meeting?
We're doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, we're doing stuff. Yeah, I know we are. Okay, we got that. Glenn, you got anything on the Veterans Connection on outreach or haven't? You've been very, very busy, I know.
Still a lot of disconnected members,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
okay, we'll get back to that. Paul, you got anything that you want to report for, Paul Williams? Not two Pauls sitting together, don't do that again.
Well, why not?
Why?
We're part of the illustrious tour, you know.
Oh, I know you are. So, children, youth, schools, and champs in 40 and 8. Paul?
All that, well, schools get back in, so it takes time to get things going, and we work on it.
Okay, schools have started back in again, so we'll be back up at it. And I did receive a thing, and I gave it to, from Bay Creek, from the secretary that's there. If you would check with Kathy. I didn't know if you were going to be here tonight or not, and I gave her the note. They need 18 flags in classrooms there. So if you could see her, that would be great. Okay. Covered. I talked with John, and they're still not letting anybody bring stuff down to the VA. And we're going to see what the VA will accept somewhere else, like in Milledgeville, possibly. Are there any other committee reports that need to come before us? Mike, are you going to give one? Y'all can, never mind. Okay, so old business. My intent is to have breakouts every meeting so that you can meet with your committees to flesh out some of these things that we've done. That you're doing, that your ideas. You don't have to go out and do them. So I've got, just for a moment, I've got some folks that, hang on, that need to know what they're doing. Okay, Ron and Tom and that was yours. Nice handwriting.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know you gave me yours, but Glenn, but I'm not really sure where I did it, and it ended up in my shuffling of papers. I know.
I don't have a copy.
Okay, you don't have a copy. Okay. Who is on Glenn's committee that's here? You three? You were the one for all post activities, right? And who was on that committee with Glenn for all post activities?
Not many people here.
Yeah. Okay, so I want for your meetings to be productive. I'd like for all of your groups to be together. So let's do this. And I hate wasting time. And I hate wasting your time. So let's do this, if we could, please. On our next meeting, there are going to be fewer reports. We have to do a finance report. We have to let you know other things that are happening, you know, this in our area, and that we can't write a report on. But I want all these different committee reports to be written. I'd like to have pictures and some kind of comments from them so that we can spend more time in the breakout session, and then at the end of the breakout session, I think we should share with each other what you've decided and what you've discovered or what your ideas are on that. And I want you to be able to, and this sounds like homework, doesn't it? Sorry. I want you to be able to write it down so that we can file it and so that we'll have some meaning. I don't want this stuff to go to a back burner. There are some really good things coming up here. Ron, you're my star child here. Hand that to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'll make him feel bad. Why? You did the right. So, I got this from Ron like a day or so after your committee meeting. This is the attendees, and he has listed here 1 through 10, all the things that the committee discussed. And he's just a facilitator in this committee. He doesn't tell them what to think. He doesn't tell them which direction that we're moving as opposed. We want wide open ideas. We don't want you to be, and Paul McKinnish asked me a really good question when he was sitting right here. He said, what is our budget? We don't know until we know what it is. If that makes any sense. And we can't prioritize things for improvements until we know what we have to deal with ourselves with income. What's in our bank. So it's not like I'm disregarding what the funds are. It's that we need to know what your priorities are. Then we can say, okay, how feasible is this to do for the post to make it better, to make it more realistic? But we have to look like a great suggestion was, and we all know that this is true, the parking lot is really not acceptable. Okay, that's just not. But if you fix the parking lot and then come in here and try to fix everything up, you're going to mess up the parking lot again. So what we're trying to do is, okay, so these are really great things that need to happen. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we're not messing something else. It needs to be done sequentially. And we have to prioritize about this for what we can afford. So Ron's thing that's here, he gave some ideas for marketing. Silent auction is one of them. Each one of the groups is here, where it's kind of said, okay, so how do you think that we can pull this off? And we got some great ideas. I mean, we've got some great ideas, but we can't do them all at once. We can't do any of this idea at one time. But we can look at it and see, what do we need to do that's going to bring in the youth and their families? Because we need the soldiers that are just getting out of service. We need them and their families, and they're already busy with their families. So we need to look at all of this so that when we get together, we've got a plan, a target of the people we want to bring in, that we want to embrace in the post, and that we want for them to embrace the post and look at it just, okay, I can't go down there all the time, but hey, I can take my kids down here and they can play on the playground or something like that. I'm not bringing the kids down here to play bingo. I did talk to Anisha at the car show. We were sitting out here together. I said, so what's the deal with bingo? Why can't we play it? She said, oh, you can play it. You just can't have prize money. But we can have prizes. It's our bingo. So we can have prizes, and then prizes could be anything. You know, we could talk, maybe we could talk Glenn, and something that has to do with his business of boats on the lake. There's all kinds of things that we could do. Yes, and your imagination is yours, and I'm not going to limit it. You can, anything you come up with, write it down. I have to do it because I can't remember anything. I left my notepad back there somewhere. I don't know where it is. But write it down and then bring it to us. After you write it down, you might say, this is not going to work, and just let it pass. That's okay too. But write it down and have something of that's going on. Is there any new business that needs to be brought to the post? Okay, so what we're going to do, groups, we're going to put this off, getting together with the breakout session until next meeting. And our next meeting, casually mentioned, happens to be the 1st of October. October Fool's Day. So, for the good of the order, I have one thing. A friend of mine is the director of the Air Force Band in Washington, D.C. He went to school at the University of Georgia. And the singing sergeants and the Air Force Band are going to be in Athens at University of Georgia at Hugh Hodgson's Concert Hall on Thursday, October the 24th at 7 p.m. And if it's like the other things, it's probably free. So that means it, especially for us who are service members. There, I'll have this here, and I'll also, Mike, if we could put this out, I'll give this to you, and you can put this out, and you can follow through for yourself. I wish I didn't have to go that night, because I would love to go and hear that group perform. They are some of the finest musicians in the world. This is the Air Force Band out of Washington, D.C. with the singing sergeants. So, for all of our friends and fellow veterans that are not with us this evening because they're unable to, but illness or family situations or just being out of town, I will entertain, yes, one more thing. Huh? For the good of the order, okay.
I think we need an update on the renewals. We're doing fairly well so far this year. 213 renewals, 11 new members, which is pretty good for this time of year. 4 transfers, and 29 paid up for life. So keep the renewals and try to recruit new members. And I'm pretty proud of our neighborhood. We have about 8 of us here tonight, so that's pretty good for Grand Haven.
You pay these guys?
I pay them a little bit. So also piggybacking a little bit on Mike there, a friend of mine from the neighborhood got me over to the Athens clinic here recently. And so they were boom, boom, boom. I got appointments and everything. But at this appointment with the PA, we're going over my history and my operation, shall we say. And she said, she's looking in the computer, and she says, "You were circumcised in May of 1948. How in the world did that get in there? And you had a vasectomy in 1977. I said, man, Big Brother knows everything. I think Mike put them up to that.
So much for hip.
Okay, so now we have moved into the TMI category. Yes, sir. James.
Go to the Legion. Go to the Legion.
So they go to the order?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Commander. Those of you who don't know me, I'm James Walters. I'm a 40-year member of the Legion, not here, but I think I moved my membership here about 4 or 5 years ago. I wanted to brag on my grandson right quick before we dismiss. Matthew Walters. August of last year, he joined the Marine Corps under the delayed entry program. This past April, he made Eagle Scout. In May, he had his Court of Honor. About the middle of the month, I don't remember the precise date. He graduated high school, Mountain View High School here in Gwinnett, on Memorial Day itself. And then he turned 18 on the 31st of May. This past month, August 13, he boarded a bus for Paris Island. And he's down there now. And
enjoying the beach.
Yep, enjoying the nets and all that. I just wanted to let you all know that and let you know that as soon as he has a permanent address, he will become a member of this post. So that's out there, and I'll try to bring some addresses, printed addresses for him at Paris Island.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
So you could send him a card of encouragement.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, James. Yes, sir.
Get up here where I can get it at my height. Not too long ago, I had an opportunity to go to Stockbridge and talk with some of our state members at Stockbridge. Specifically, I talked to the judge advocate while I was down there. And I talked and had a long discussion of about an hour, hour and a half. And the judge advocate from there recommended to me, based on what we discussed, that I should make a proposed draft for an amendment to our bylaws. So, based on Article 12 of our bylaws,
About the post bylaws.
of the post bylaws, I have drafted a proposed amendment, and that proposed amendment is to
Fire the VSO.
no, wouldn't do that. It is to Article 7, which is titled Resolutions. Part of what I have proposed would change that from just resolutions to resolutions and disputes. As part of that article, I have added 2 sections. And part of Section 12 requires that the proposed amendment be read at a meeting and then be sent to everyone membership-wise, and then at the next meeting, it can be voted on. So I'm going to quickly read it. Section 2 of Article 7 has been added in the proposed amendment, and it says, any member in good standing or any employee of the post may register a complaint in writing to the Post Executive Committee. Complaints and offenses levied against any officer or committeeman shall be presented to the Executive Committee along with substantiating evidence of the presumed complaint or offense. The Executive Committee shall conduct a formal investigation with both parties and any other members deemed necessary to gather facts associated with said complaint or offense. After completion of the formal investigation, all evidence and statements from the concerned party shall be provided to a designated arbitrator for resolution. The parties agree that the dispute is to be arbitrated by the designated arbitrator, and that the parties agree to abide by the rules of the arbitration process and the final determination of the arbitrator. Additionally, by consenting to the arbitration process, the concerned parties are waiving their right to litigate the dispute in court. If any party refuses arbitration, the registered complaint or offense will be dismissed. Refer to the arbitration policy document for details. And there's plenty of sample arbitrations out there on the web that we can use as the arbitration process. Section 3, the designated arbitrator shall make a final decision on the dispute, and the results shall be issued in writing to the Executive Committee for implementation. Any disciplinary actions to either party as identified by the arbitrator shall be implemented by the Executive Committee. Only the Executive Committee can levy disciplinary action for a post officer or executive committeeman. That's the proposed amendment. So, in accordance with the bylaws, I'd like to make a motion to have this sent to the full membership so they can read it, and then we can go ahead and vote on it at the next meeting.
Second move.
Okay.
Second that.
Will we have discussion after the second?
Yes, discussion.
I would like to ask that we include the arbitration document. We choose one so that it can be considered alongside. So when that gets sent out, whatever arbitration guidelines we're going to use need to be included with that as an amendment.
Yes.
Because that way it's not, we're waiting and we know what guidelines we would use.
Tom, are you adding?
Could you,
Tom, are you gonna add that?
Tom, could you say that into the microphone, please?
Sure.
So that the folks in the back can hear. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I am the judge advocate here, and what I asked was, I agree with this amendment in spirit, and I think it's well presented. But I asked, since there was part of the motion was to include a specific arbitration set of arbitration guidelines, and what Frank said was there are several to choose from. I'm just asking that we go ahead and choose one and send that out alongside this motion, right? That way it's not, we're going to do this, make this change, and we're going to look at something that we don't know which specific guidelines it is, right? I'm all over that. I think we just need to choose them, and I'm happy to assist with that if you want. All right?
And I had this electronically, so whenever we get ready to do that, I can send it to whoever I need to, so it goes out to the membership.
That would come from me, so it's good.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we have clarification. Is that what you want?
Sure.
For better. Okay. So, any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, and motion carries. So Tom, will you kind of help, since you're our judge advocate?
Yeah.
You'll help with clarification of this. So this will come to the membership between now and the next meeting, is that correct?
We'll make sure everyone has it at least 10 days before.
Okay, everyone.
No?
Huh?
Not by the next meeting.
No.
We don't have emails for everybody, so we're gonna have to hand, like we did last time.
Well, we'll send it out to every email that we have.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out that we'll have to work with the adjutant on the specifics of that, but we'll get it out to membership ahead as best we can, and then we'll have to figure out what we do with the outliers that we don't have emails for. But that's a different thing.
Okay, so we will get this out to the emails that we have.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll work around getting this out to the other membership as it is possible to us.
Yep.
Is that okay?
It's the same with every other thing we do.
Probably about 7.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Williams, and we don't even need a second. So, Captain of the Color Guard.
Bring it.
No. Or not. Sorry. Sherry.
Flag of our country to remain in place of honor, right hand salute. Salute.
Uncover. Chapman, please lead us in closing prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, come back to you again tonight to ask that you continue to keep the flame lit so that this post can continue to do good things. We've heard a lot tonight, and we know it's through your blessings that we're able to accomplish these things, but we still have a long way to go. So we ask that you continue to be with us. Be with us also, that this country get back on its feet and do good things. We ask that you help bless us to become the great Christian nation that we once were. Be with us to make that happen, and bless us all. Excuse me, all that we do, the things that you've blessed us and led us to do. Be with our military scattered all across this great world, and be with us on our way home. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Recover. I now declare this meeting of American Legion Post 233, the American Legion Department of Georgia, adjourned.
All right, so tomorrow lunchtime, if not around 3.
Yep. I'll give you a heads up. It's going down.
Back seats.
Thanks for everything you do, brother.
I have any course you told me in 2 weeks. You know what I can do? I come over the border and you have to come.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole thing is that's for VA healthcare, okay? Do you have, are you being compensated monthly?
Oh, yeah, we have every day.
Actually, if you do have a rating, then they'll see you without the co-payment.
I guess the trouble is, I always had a job to pay my taxes.
Yes, sir.
I'm not complaining when I see me
Oh, yeah.
when I see what other people do. When I was in Korea.
Oh, he's
Should I go home with Michael? Mike?
You turn off your wife? No.
This is cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.